Hi, Henko and Dennis. Thank you very much for joining us here. Can you introduce yourselves a little bit?
Yeah, I'm Remco. This is my colleague Dennis. We both work at the Dutch Railways. We both work as non-functional testing professionals. Non-functional testing is everything that is not purely functional. So think of performance testing, test automation, security testing. That's what we do.
Nice, and I saw that you had a presentation on performance testing. So my first question is, what is performance testing?
Performance testing is testing the technical parts of software that is being developed, and would be the speed of the software, the availability of the software, throughput, things like that, technical aspects.
And can you give me a concrete example of how you do performance testing at the Dutch railways?
Yeah, that's possible. Our systems comprise complex chains of systems. When, for example, a train passes a certain point on a track with a 5-minute delay, this information has to reach the travelers within seconds, and they can look at it in the app or on the website or even the signs on the platform. So each system in that chain needs to adhere to certain strict performance requirements, and we test all those systems in the chain.
And what kind of tools do you use for this? Because in this course we've been seeing JUnit a lot. Do you use JUnit, or are there other tools to do performance testing?
We have special performance testing tools for that available. At the Dutch Railways we mostly use LoadRunner and Apache JMeter. And there are some other tools on the market as well. But we have special performance testing tools that gives us good insight in the results of our testing, and that are specially made for those kind of tests.
I see. And how often do you run those performance tests?
Well, it depends a little bit on the project. In DevOps or Agile projects, we usually perform daily performance tests, so we can give quick results, quick feedback to the development teams. But we also have more traditional software systems that only have a few releases per year. And for those systems we perform on-demand performance testing.
And if you run them right now, how long do they take to be done?
Oh, well, it depends on the complexity of the system, the amount of performance tests that are automated. So it usually goes from, say, quick tests within half an hour to full-blown tests that take a couple of hours.
Interesting. And you just told me you had some agile teams, you have some more traditional teams. How does the performance testing fit in your team's process?
Well, for agile projects, it's simple. The performance tester are either part of the development team or they are supporting the development team. And in projects that only have a few releases per year, the testers are usually part of the service organization that accepts a new release. So they are much more at the sideline of the development. So.
And what are the challenges in doing performance testing? What hurts you the most?
Well, maybe Dennis?
Yeah, but I don't really understand the question, sorry.
So if I want to do performance testing, what are the challenges you face?
Challenges especially for performance testing?
Yes.
Well, you need to have great in-depth knowledge of the technical aspects of the software. I think that's a big difference with other functional testing. And challenging could be to have the correct load models, because the software will be challenged in different ways at different times or different situations. So you need to create load models to do the correct performance testing. So you really have the correct results out of the test. So you really know if the system can work in the real world.
I see, I see. And we have this impression that sometimes you really need a production-like environment for your performance tests. Is this true?
It's not always possible to have a production-like environment, and it's not always necessary, because, for instance, with testing the travel information, what he just told, that it only has 10 seconds. In that project, we do, it's an agile project, so we do a lot of testing. The software is being tested every day, also performance testing. And it would be very expensive to have a production-like environment for that. So what we do there is that we have a benchmark system, and we test against those benchmarks. And if we see that in that testing environment that it takes a little bit too long or a little bit longer than in the benchmark tests, then we know that also in production probably almost the same or procentually the same delay can be expected. So it's not always necessary and not always possible to have a production-like environment, but often also is tested in a production-like environment. That is true.
Thank you very much.